Have you ever thought to yourself, I don't want to become a burden on my children? If so, you're not alone. Many of us, as we grow older, begin to worry about losing our independence, relying too much on others, or feeling like we've lost control of our daily lives. But what if I told you that it doesn't have to be that way? In fact, even after 70, 80, or 90, it's absolutely possible to live with confidence, self-respect, and independence without constantly depending on your children or caregivers. And it doesn't take grand changes. Sometimes it starts with just a few simple habits, repeated every day. In this video, I'm going to share 6 practical, proven habits that can help you stay independent, strong, and in charge of your life, even in your later years. These are things anyone can do, no matter your age, background, or physical condition. We'll talk about daily routines, how to make your home safer, how to use technology with ease, and even the power of learning to say no. So if you want to feel more capable, more confident, and more in control of your future, I encourage you to watch until the very end. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring tips and stories about aging with grace. If you have your own ways of staying independent, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Let's grow stronger together. And remember, it's never too late to start living life on your own terms. 6. Create a regular daily routine. It often starts with something as simple as when you wake up. At first glance, having a routine might sound boring or even restrictive, especially after years of working and living by the clock. But here's the surprising truth. After the age of 60, having a stable, predictable rhythm to your day could be one of the most powerful tools for staying mentally sharp, physically balanced, and emotionally grounded. You don't need a strict, military-style schedule. What matters is regularity. Waking up at roughly the same time every morning, even on weekends, helps reset your internal body clock, also known as your circadian rhythm. This rhythm doesn't just control your sleep, it also regulates your digestion, hormone levels, body temperature, and mood. Studies have shown that when older adults maintain a consistent daily structure, they report fewer feelings of confusion, anxiety, or fatigue. Their brains feel more in sync, less foggy. Start small. Maybe you have a morning cup of warm water or tea at 7:30, followed by breakfast at 8 o'clock. You take a short walk after lunch, rest around 2 p.m., and have dinner before sunset. Over time, these seemingly mundane actions form a pattern that your brain and body begin to rely on. That reliability brings comfort, clarity, and confidence. A regular meal schedule is especially important as we age. Digestion slows down, and erratic eating, too late, too heavy, or too rushed, can lead to indigestion, poor sleep, and even increased blood sugar levels. Eating at consistent times helps your body prepare in advance. Your stomach produces the right enzymes, your metabolism stabilizes, and your blood pressure responds more smoothly. And then there's sleep, perhaps the most underestimated part of a healthy routine. Going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even if your sleep isn't perfect, helps improve the quality of rest over time. It trains your brain to recognize when to wind down and when to start fresh, making those restless nights less frequent. What's also beautiful about having a daily routine is that it reduces the number of small decisions you have to make. When your days flow with purpose, you don't waste energy wondering, what should I do next? The kind of mental relief is no small thing. In fact, decision fatigue is a well-known contributor to stress and burnout, even in retirement. By removing some of those choices, you free up space in your mind for more meaningful moments. Conversations, hobbies, reading, or a quiet walk in the garden. It's not about being rigid. It's about creating a rhythm that supports your independence. You won't need reminders from your children to take your medicine or worry about missing meals. You'll know instinctively what your body needs and when because you've trained it gently day by day. And here's something else. Once your days have structure, you'll find it easier to build other habits on top of that foundation, like staying active, eating well, or spending time with loved ones. It all starts with the rhythm of your day. Think of it as the frame of a painting. You can still add color, variety, and creativity, but the structure holds everything together. So if you're wondering where to begin, this is it. Start with a rhythm, one that suits your body, your needs, your life. It might take a week or two to settle into it, but once you do, you'll likely wonder how you ever lived without it. And as we move into the next habit, keeping your living space safe and supportive, you'll see just how naturally one good routine leads to another. 5. Keep your living space tidy and safe. Once your daily routine feels stable, the next thing to think about is your living environment, the space you move through every day. We often underestimate how much our surroundings affect our independence. But truthfully, a safe, well-organized home can make the difference between needing daily help and being able to do things on your own with confidence. Imagine this. You've just finished your morning tea and you're heading to the kitchen to start breakfast. On the way, you bump your foot on a low stool, or you reach up high for a jar and lose your balance. It's a small thing until it isn't. For people over 70, something as ordinary as a fall can quickly lead to long hospital stays, a drop in mobility, and often an unwanted shift toward dependence on others. In fact, according to the World Health Organization, falls are the second leading cause of accidental injury deaths worldwide, and older adults are at the highest risk. What's even more important is that many of these accidents happen at home, and many are preventable. So how do we prevent them? It begins with looking around your space and asking, is this home working with me or against me? Start by keeping walkways clear. That means no scattered shoes near the door, no rugs that slide around, no coffee tables with sharp corners and tight spaces. You want to be able to move freely, especially at night when visibility is lower and your body may feel a bit stiffer. Next, think about where you store things. The kettle you use every day shouldn't be up on the top shelf. Medications shouldn't be hidden in a drawer that requires bending over deeply. Keep essential items at waist or shoulder height, easy to reach without needing to stretch, climb, or crouch. And lighting? It's more important than we think. Dim hallways or staircases are a recipe for accidents. A simple fix like adding sensor lights or brighter bulbs can make your home not only safer, but more welcoming. Decluttering is also part of this. When our homes are full of old boxes and used furniture or clothes we haven't worn in years, they become harder to clean and harder to navigate. Letting go of some of these items doesn't mean letting go of memories. It means making space for the life you're living now. Plus, there's something incredibly freeing about a clean, open space. It lifts your mood and makes everyday tasks feel more manageable. And here's the beautiful part. Organizing your home to support your independence isn't about age. It's about dignity. It's about saying, I deserve a space that helps me thrive, not one that holds me back. And it gives your family peace of mind, knowing you're safer and more comfortable. If it feels overwhelming to do all at once, don't worry. You can start small. Tidy one drawer today. Rearrange a kitchen shelf tomorrow. Gradually, the space around you will begin to shift, and so will your confidence. And there's a hidden bonus to all of this. The act of organizing and maintaining your home is itself a form of gentle physical activity. It keeps your hands busy, your mind engaged, and your body moving. That, in turn, supports your balance, coordination, and even your memory. Studies in environmental psychology have shown that older adults living in well-organized spaces report higher levels of emotional well-being and a greater sense of control over their lives. Once your space feels safer and more functional, everyday activities become smoother. You'll feel more comfortable preparing your own meals, doing light cleaning, or welcoming friends over for tea. Independence begins to grow from the inside out, one safe and intentional step at a time. And as your home starts to reflect the stability of a new routine, you might begin to feel ready for the next layer of care, what you put inside your body. That's where nutrition comes in, another quiet but powerful way to remain strong, alert, and independent well into your later years. So now that your environment is supporting you physically, we'll move on to how your eating habits can support you from within. But remember this, your home is not just where you live. It's a place where your independence begins every single day. Shall we keep going? 4. Learn how to use your phone and basic technology. It might surprise you, but one of the most powerful tools for staying independent after 70 isn't a new medication or a fancy piece of exercise equipment. It's your phone, or your tablet, or your computer. In fact, knowing how to use just a few basic technologies can dramatically improve your quality of life. And no, it's not too late to learn. In truth, it's never been a better time to try. Let's be honest. Technology can feel intimidating. It changes fast. It speaks in strange symbols. And for many of us, it wasn't part of our daily lives until well into adulthood. But just like learning how to drive or how to cook, using technology is a skill. And like any skill, it gets easier with a bit of practice and patience. Think of this not as learning tech, but as learning to stay connected, safe, and self-reliant. Take video calling, for example. If you live far from your children or grandchildren, or even if mobility limits how often you get out, a simple video call can bring a familiar face into your living room. You can laugh together, share stories, and feel emotionally close, even if you're physically apart. Studies from Harvard and the National Institute on Aging consistently show that regular contact with loved ones helps reduce the risk of depression and cognitive decline. And the best part, most smartphones have video call features built right in. Apps like FaceTime, WhatsApp, or Zoom are just a tap away. Next, let's talk about searching for information. Do you remember the days of library encyclopedias or waiting for a reply to a letter? Today, you can type a question into Google and get thousands of answers in seconds. Want to know which foods are good for arthritis? Curious about gentle stretching routines? Looking up directions to a new friend's house? The answer is in your pocket. And while the amount of information online can feel overwhelming at first, learning to search smartly by using clear, simple keywords makes it surprisingly manageable. Then there are the daily little helpers, tools and apps that can quietly support your independence without ever needing to ask for help. Take medication reminders, for example. There are apps that alert you to take your pills at specific times. If you're diabetic, there are apps that track your blood sugar. If you're monitoring your blood pressure, you can record and chart it with just a few taps. And don't forget the humble alarm clock feature. It can wake you up, remind you to water the plants, or signal that it's time to go for a walk. There's also a real safety benefit. If you live alone, having a mobile phone nearby means you can call for help quickly in an emergency. Many phones now come with an emergency button feature or allow you to share your location with a trusted contact. In fact, some smartwatches even detect if you've had a fall and will automatically alert someone. It's like having peace of mind strapped to your wrist. But let's go back to the idea of learning. You might be wondering, isn't it too late to start? Absolutely not. The human brain, even in its 70s, 80s, and 90s, has the ability to adapt and form new connections. A concept known as neuroplasticity. Researchers have shown that older adults can learn new skills, especially when those skills are meaningful and connected to daily life. The key: go at your own pace, ask questions often, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's how we all learn, at any age. One of the most heartening trends is the rise of community tech programs designed specifically for seniors. Many libraries, community centers, or senior organizations now offer free or low-cost workshops to teach everything from how to send a text to how to manage online banking safely. These aren't fast-talking computer experts expecting you to keep up. They're patient instructors who understand that learning in later life needs a gentler approach. Better yet, you'll often be learning alongside other seniors, which means you'll also be making new friends. And if you prefer to learn at home, YouTube is full of videos created just for people over 60, step by step, no pressure, and in plain English. You can pause, rewind, and watch as many times as you need. Even just asking a family member or grandchild to show you how to use one new feature each week can add up to a big difference over time. Now, you don't need to become a tech wizard. You don't have to join social media or shop online if you don't want to. But knowing the basics, how to make a video call, how to search for information, how to use reminders or read a news article online, can go a long way toward helping you stay independent, confident, and connected. More than anything, embracing even a little bit of technology means saying yes to growth. It means choosing curiosity over fear, flexibility over frustration. And that attitude, that spark of willingness, is the very thing that keeps us young in spirit, no matter what year we were born. So maybe this week, try just one thing. Set an alarm on your phone, or ask your neighbor how to download a simple weather app, or schedule your next doctor's appointment on a calendar app so you don't forget. Every small step you take puts you more in control of your life and less dependent on others for the little things. Because self-reliance doesn't always come from strength. It often comes from learning something new. And in case no one's told you today, yes, you can learn this, and you might even enjoy it. Free. Maintain light exercise every day. By the time we reach our 70s and beyond, one of the most valuable assets we have left isn't money or possessions. It's mobility. The ability to stand up without help, to reach for a cup on the shelf, or to simply go for a walk on a sunny morning might seem like small things, but they're the backbone of independence. And the good news? You don't need to be an athlete or spend hours at the gym to keep your body in working order. In fact, light movement done consistently every day is far more powerful than occasional bursts of intense exercise. Let me tell you a little story. A friend of mine, Mr. Tanaka, turned 82 last year. Every morning, without fail, he puts on his walking shoes, grabs his old straw hat, and walks slowly around his neighborhood in Kyoto. It takes him about 30 minutes. He doesn't go fast. He doesn't use any fitness tracker, but he walks. And he says it keeps his knees from locking up, his mind feeling clear, and, perhaps most importantly, his sense of self intact. What Mr. Tanaka understands, perhaps instinctively, is what doctors and researchers have been saying for years. Movement is medicine. As we age, our muscle mass naturally declines. It's a process called sarcopenia, and it can begin as early as your 60s if you're inactive. The less we move, the weaker our muscles become, and the harder it is to move. It's a vicious cycle that leads to dependence, falls, and often a loss of confidence. But here's the empowering truth. Even gentle movement, if done regularly, can preserve muscle strength, improve balance, and prevent this decline. You don't need special equipment. Your body is the equipment. Let's talk about what light movement can look like. Start with the basics. Walking even slowly is one of the best forms of exercise for older adults. A 20-minute stroll around your block or even within your home helps to stimulate circulation, loosen joints, and lift your mood. If you prefer to stay indoors, simple activities like standing up from a chair and sitting down again without using your hands, or walking in place while watching TV, can also be effective. Then there's stretching, something that many people forget. As we age, our joints stiffen and our range of motion narrows. Stretching gently every day, especially in the morning when your body is still warming up, can make everyday activities, like bending to tie your shoes or reaching for something in a cupboard, far easier. Plus, it feels wonderful. You don't need to overdo it. Just focus on your arms, back, neck, and legs. Move slowly, breathe deeply. And here's a simple trick I love to recommend. Use the stairs. If you have a few steps at home, use them throughout the day. You don't need to run up and down them. Just take them slowly, one at a time. The action of lifting your legs activates large muscle groups like your quadriceps and glutes, which are essential for standing, walking, and stability. You might be wondering, what if I have arthritis or I haven't exercised in years? Can I even start now? The answer is yes, absolutely. Studies have shown that even people in their 80s and 90s can improve muscle strength and balance with light movement. In fact, starting at this age is sometimes easier because you're more aware of your body's limits and less likely to push too hard. Of course, always listen to your body. If something hurts, stop. If you feel dizzy, rest. The goal isn't to work up a sweat. It's to keep your joints moving, your muscles engaged, and your spirit active. And movement isn't just physical, it's also mental. When you move your body, your brain benefits too. Physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, supports memory function, and helps regulate mood. It's one of the most effective ways to reduce anxiety, ease depression, and prevent cognitive decline. Isn't that incredible? A slow walk around the garden can help both your heart and your mind. Another tip, make movement part of your social life. Invite a neighbor or friend to join you for a short walk. Turn it into a daily routine, or play some gentle music and dance a little in your living room. Movement doesn't need to be boring. It could be joyful, even playful. Some seniors like to keep a simple log of their daily movement. Just jotting down, walk for 10 minutes, or stretched arms and legs after lunch helps track your consistency. And seeing that list grow over time gives you a quiet sense of accomplishment. So, where does this fit in our journey toward independence? Well, think of it this way. If you can get up from a chair without asking for help, if you can go to the kitchen for a glass of water, or walk to your front gate to greet a visitor, you're living on your own terms. You're not waiting on someone else. You're not stuck. And that freedom, that dignity is worth every step. And perhaps most importantly, the more mobile you are, the less likely you are to fall. According to the World Health Organization, falls are the second leading cause of accidental death in people over 65. But regular, light movement improves coordination, reflexes, and balance, your best defense against falling. So, whether you start with a gentle stretch while sitting in bed or take a few extra steps during your day, remember, motion is a sign of life. And life, at any age, is worth moving for. Let's keep going. There's more you can do to stay independent and in control. Next, we'll talk about something many seniors avoid at first, but later come to love: building a supportive circle of trusted helpers, not just to assist you, but to empower you. 2. Self-care, nutrition, and personal health. By the time we reach our 70s, we've mastered the art of taking care of others. Our children, our families, even our co-workers. But what often goes overlooked is this: are we still taking care of ourselves? Not in the general sense, but in the small daily choices that add up to a healthier, more independent life. And among the most essential of those choices is learning how to manage our own nutrition and personal health needs, even in older age. Let's be honest, there's a quiet kind of pride in being able to prepare your own meals, take your own medication on time, and understand what your body needs without relying on others. These are the foundations of freedom after 70. Not dramatic acts, but everyday confidence in your own hands. And that all begins in the kitchen. You don't need to become a master chef overnight. In fact, simple meals are often the best. A bowl of warm soup, steamed vegetables with a sprinkle of olive oil, a piece of grilled fish, nutrient-rich, easy to digest, and kind of both your body and your wallet. If you can learn to prepare 2 or 3 simple, balanced meals a week, you're already ahead. Nutrition at this stage of life isn't about dieting or denying yourself. It's about giving your body the tools it needs to stay strong, sharp, and energized. That means paying attention to what goes into your meals. Enough fiber to keep digestion smooth, lean protein to support muscle, healthy fats for the brain, and of course, hydration. Yes, water counts as nutrition too. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to forget a glass or 2, especially when you don't feel thirsty. A gentle reminder from a sticky note on the fridge or a little alarm on your phone can help. You're not doing this because someone told you to, but doing it because your body thanks you for it. Equally important is learning to recognize the difference between foods that nourish and foods that merely fill. It's not about perfection, but awareness. For example, prepackaged snacks might seem convenient, but they often contain too much salt or sugar. On the other hand, a banana, a handful of nuts, or a slice of whole grain toast can keep you satisfied without the hidden cost to your health. And then there's medication. Many people over 70 are prescribed at least one form of daily medication. Often more, remembering what to take and when can feel overwhelming at first. But with the help of simple tools like a pill organizer, a wall calendar, or even a reminder app on your phone, it becomes just another part of your daily rhythm. You see, these small habits, remembering to take your blood pressure pills in the morning, drinking a glass of water before each meal, eating something light but nourishing when you wake up, they all tie into one bigger picture: staying in control of your health. And the truth is, this kind of control is deeply empowering, because when you feel capable of managing your meals, your hydration, and your medication, you begin to feel more confident in other areas of life too. You're less likely to panic when you feel a little unwell. You're more likely to notice small changes in your body and take action early. You become your own first line of defense, which is exactly what many doctors recommend for preventing serious health issues in older adults. In fact, research has shown that seniors who maintain even a modest level of personal health awareness and nutrition management are more likely to live independently longer. They're also less likely to suffer falls, memory loss, or hospitalizations due to preventable causes. The World Health Organization has even emphasized this in their active aging framework. Autonomy and self-care are key indicators of healthy aging. But beyond the science, It's also about quality of life. There's something deeply reassuring about knowing that you can make yourself a warm cup of tea, cook a simple breakfast, and check your blood pressure without asking for help. It allows you to focus on the things you truly enjoy. Reading, gardening, chatting with friends, or playing with grandchildren, because you're not constantly worried about your basic needs. You don't need to do it all at once. Perhaps you start by writing down your medication schedule. Or maybe you asked a grandchild to show you how to set up a food reminder on your phone. The important thing is not how perfectly you do it, but that you begin. And if you ever feel discouraged, remember this: your brain is still learning. It's a myth that older people can't learn new skills. In fact, learning, especially when it's connected to self-care, keeps the mind sharp and engaged. Every new recipe you try, every meal you plan, every health decision you make for yourself, no matter how small, is a step toward independence, toward confidence, toward a life where you are still the one holding the reins. You've taken care of so many others. This is your time to take care of you. Not out of fear, but out of strength. And the good news is, it's never too late to start. Let's keep going together. 1. Confidently say no and decide for yourself. You've learned to take care of your nutrition, to move your body with care, to use technology with growing confidence. But perhaps the most empowering habit of all as we age is the ability to say no and mean it. Yes, truly. At this stage in life, having the confidence to say no, to listen to your own voice over others, and to make your own decisions without guilt is not just healthy, it's essential. You see, when we're younger, much of life is about compromise. We say yes to keep the peace, to fulfill roles, to support others. We often put ourselves second, but now is the time to rediscover your own rhythm, not in a rebellious way, but in a wise, grounded way, one that respects your experience and trusts your instincts. This doesn't mean becoming rigid or isolated. Quite the opposite. It means learning to check in with yourself before automatically agreeing to things that don't feel right. It means recognizing when advice, however well meant, isn't helpful. And it means understanding that just because someone is younger or louder doesn't mean they know what's best for you. Let's say your adult children suggest you move in with them, but you feel perfectly happy and capable living independently. It's okay to thank them for their concern and still say, "I'd rather stay in my own home for now." Or maybe someone urges you to join a club, go on a trip, or follow a strict diet you're not comfortable with. You are allowed to pause, reflect, and decline. This is your life. That clarity, that calm no, is an act of self-respect. Psychologists call this assertive aging. Not aggressive, not passive, but assertive. It's about owning your space. Research from the Journal of Gerontology even shows that older adults who feel they have control over their daily decisions tend to experience less depression, greater life satisfaction, and even longer lives. Why? Because autonomy keeps us connected to a sense of purpose. And purpose, at any age, is powerful medicine. Of course, developing this confidence can take time, especially if you were raised in a generation that valued obedience and self-sacrifice. But here's a gentle reminder. You've spent decades caring for others, showing up, being reliable. Now you get to care for yourself. Not out of selfishness, but from wisdom. It helps to begin with small things. Start with what you want to eat today, what time you'd like to go to bed, whether or not you really want to attend that gathering this weekend. Slowly, you'll build trust with yourself again, like reuniting with an old friend. And when a bigger decision comes along, that inner voice will be clearer and more confident. And when someone doesn't understand your no, that's okay too. Not everyone will. but your worth doesn't depend on being agreeable. You don't have to explain yourself endlessly or feel bad for protecting your time and energy. Saying no is often just another way of saying yes to what truly matters. Some people worry that standing up for themselves might make them seem difficult, but those who truly love and respect you understand. They may even admire you for it, because deep down, we all crave honesty and authenticity, and being around someone who knows what they need and speaks it with grace can be incredibly inspiring. In fact, many younger people are now looking to older generations for guidance, not just in wisdom, but in how to live on their own terms. You may not even realize it, but your quiet strength, your boundaries, your dignity in saying no could be a lesson someone else desperately needs to learn. So as we wrap up this journey, starting from simple routines to movement, nutrition, connection, and now self-trust, remember this: living well after 70 isn't about having perfect health or keeping up with every trend. It's about living in alignment with your truth. Your body may need more rest. Your days may be quieter, but your choices, they matter more than ever. Trust yourself. You've come this far for a reason. And if today your instinct says no, thank you, then listen. That voice is not just experience speaking. It's wisdom. And wisdom, when lived with intention, is the foundation of a strong, joyful, and truly independent life.